You're not broke, you've been looted. While you scramble to make rent in a shoebox that eats 42% of your paycheck, Zillow says over 19 million American homes sit empty. Most of them in places where $1,000 a month doesn't mean barely surviving. It means owning land, growing food, raising animals, and never paying rent again. Let this hit. The average rent in America just hit $2,094, according to rent.com. That's 25 grand a year for a box you'll never own. But there are still states, real places, where $1,000 doesn't just put a roof over your head. It puts you on a deed, off the grid, and out of the trap. And the reason you don't know about them? Because you're not supposed to. So I'm going to show you 10 states where $1,000 makes you rich. And if you don't leave the system after this, it's because you like being broke. Let's start at number 10, Kentucky, where $1,000 doesn't just stretch, it multiplies. There's a reason Kentucky rarely shows up in real estate headlines. It's too dangerous. Not because of crime or weather. Because if too many people found out what $1,000 can do there, the entire coastal housing market would collapse like a badly poured slab. Let's hit you with the shocker. Zillow's July 2025 update lists Kentucky's statewide median home price at $194,600, but that's the average. In counties like McCreary, Bath, and Metcalfe, you're staring at properties under $120,000 with 1,800-plus square feet, full basements, garages, barns, and wraparound porches big enough to land a drone. Yes, that same $1,000 barely buys you a month of groceries in Manhattan. But in Kentucky, it pays the mortgage, property tax, utility bills, and still leaves enough left over to buy a quarter cow from your neighbor's farm. Property taxes? Laughably low at just 0.83%, and that's before state exemptions for agricultural use or senior residency. Energy costs? 11.5 cents per kilowatt statewide, with Kentucky Power offering free energy audits and insulation grants under the Save Now program. Water? Mostly rural and sourced from independent wells, translation, zero monthly bill. You want acreage? How about $2,800 per acre in Cumberland County? That means for under $200K total, you could buy a house and 5 acres and still have room for chickens, a shed, and a walnut grove. Crime. Outside urban pockets like Louisville or Lexington, violent crime in most counties is under 210 per 100,000, far lower than suburban Chicago. And Kentucky doesn't just hand you cheap living, it builds it into law. The state's 2023 First Homestead Act gives up to $7,500 in forgivable loans to anyone moving to a county with under 25,000 residents. That's real cash, not a tax gimmick. And here's what no one tells you. Kentucky has one of the lowest grocery costs in the country, ranking 47th out of 50 for average food prices, per BEA analysis. That means $100 at a rural IGA feels like $200 at a Whole Foods in LA. But the real gold mine, the zoning laws. In 80% of Kentucky counties, you can build tiny homes, barns, or second dwellings without a permit. In other words, $1,000 doesn't just get you land and a house, it gets you freedom to expand. No HOA letters. No neighbor complaints about your chickens. This isn't a loophole, it's a blueprint. Kentucky doesn't just let you live cheap, it lets you build a legacy. Quietly, legally, permanently. Number 9. Mississippi, where $1,000 turns into a homestead and a side hustle. Mississippi doesn't ask for much. It doesn't demand prestige, status, or a 6-figure job title. What it gives, though, is staggering. $1,000 a month in Mississippi can cover a home, land, bills, and a business. Because here, cost of living isn't low, it's almost extinct. Median home price across the state, per Zillow's 2025 data, just $162,900. That's the lowest in the country. And when you zoom into counties like Jefferson Davis, Noxubee, or Itawamba, that number sinks even lower, down to the $120,000 range for 2,000-plus square foot homes on multi-acre lots. You're not just buying shelter, you're buying a barn, a pasture, a greenhouse, Maybe even a side apartment to rent on Airbnb. Property taxes? Try 0.64%. That means a 120K home costs you less than $800 per year in property tax. Utilities? Dirt cheap, 11.3 cents per kilowatt. Internet? Fiber is expanding under the Connect Mississippi program, with over 3,200 miles of new line laid in 2024. You can stream, upload, Zoom, and trade stocks right from your front porch. But here's where Mississippi flips the script. Income taxes are phasing out. As of July 1st, 2025, the state has implemented a flat 4.5% income tax, with plans to abolish it entirely by 2027. You keep more of what you earn, even if it's just side gig money. Groceries? BEA Cost Index ranks Mississippi as the second cheapest state in America for food. And here's the shocker. The state offers tax incentives for small ag producers under the 2023 Grow Local Act. That means if you start selling eggs, milk, jams, or vegetables from your backyard, you get a tax deduction. Try that in California. Crime? Outside Jackson, most rural counties post under 200 violent crimes per 100K. Peaceful, quiet, and so slow-paced you can actually hear yourself think. Healthcare? The Delta Rural Health Initiative expanded to 17 new counties this year, bringing urgent care, dental vans, and mobile diagnostics to towns with populations under 2,000. Mississippi isn't flashy, it's functional, and that's its biggest advantage. For $1,000, you're not renting a life, you're building one, with land, livestock, income, and a house that's yours. And best of all, no one's coming to take it away. Number 8. Alabama, where $1,000 a month buys power, privacy, and a paid-off life. The real estate experts won't touch Alabama, not because it's irrelevant, but because it proves them wrong. They can't sell you on overpriced condos and starter homes when you can buy a 3-bedroom home with acreage in Alabama for the price of their car payment. Median home value statewide? $202,500, according to the July 2025 Zillow Index. But in places like Escambia, Fayette, or Choctaw County, you can scoop up listings for $140,000 and under, many with porches, storm shelters, fruit trees, and enough room to host family reunions, livestock, or both. Property tax? Try a microscopic 0.39%, the second lowest in America, meaning a $150,000 home costs you about $585 per year in taxes. And thanks to Alabama's Homestead Exemption Act, seniors and disabled residents can slash that number even more, sometimes to zero. Utilities? Still cheap, about 11.8 cents per kilowatt, and Alabama Power offers rebates for smart thermostats, insulation, and even well pumps under the 2024 Rural Savings Act. Water? Private wells dominate the countryside. Translation? You don't pay monthly for what falls from the sky, but here's where Alabama bends the matrix. Food freedom. In most counties, backyard farming is not just allowed, it's encouraged. You can legally sell eggs, poultry, produce, and canned goods with minimal regulation under the 2023 Small Ag Commerce Act. Meaning that $1,000 a month isn't just a bill, it's a business plan. Crime? In rural counties like Clark or Lamar, violent crime rates clock in under 150 per 100,000, which is safer than most gated communities in the Northeast. Healthcare? You've got full regional hospitals in Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, and Birmingham. But the rural upgrade is real. Alabama added 18 new telemedicine hubs and 9 mobile clinics since early 2024. Many funded by federal COVID relief reallocation. And if you're a first-time buyer, the state offers $7,500 in down payment assistance through the AHFA's Step Up program, which is still accepting applicants. You want peace, land, and a bill that actually builds equity? Alabama is sitting right under your nose. And for $1,000 a month, it's not just giving you property, it's handing you power. The power to say no to landlords, yes to land, and goodbye to the broke city life forever. Number 7. South Dakota, where $1,000 buys you a fortress against modern chaos. If you thought South Dakota was just cornfields and cold winters, you're not looking hard enough. Because in 2025, it's one of the last places in America where $1,000 doesn't just stretch, it defends you. Against inflation, against debt, against noise. Let's get precise. Zillow's latest data clocks South Dakota's median home price at $239,300. But that number is irrelevant if you're smart. In counties like Gregory, Aurora, and Falk, homes regularly list for $115,000 to $150,000, often on multiple acres with pole barns, walkout basements, and fences already in place. And for those who want to build, South Dakota has some of the loosest rural zoning laws. In the Midwest, shipping container homes, tiny houses, even barn dominiums, totally legal. Land? Averaging $3,200 per acre in many rural counties, with owner financing available and zero state restrictions on livestock, water usage, or solar installations. Property tax? Just 1.18% statewide, but ag-zoned parcels come with major exemptions. Electricity? Around 11.6 cents kWh, but the kicker is wind energy. South Dakota produces more wind power per capita than any other state, and some rural co-ops allow net metering for small solar and wind setups, turning your roof or your field into a power plant. Groceries? State tax is 0 on food. That's not a typo. No sales tax on groceries. And most counties still have local butcher shops, farm cooperatives, and produce exchanges that beat even Costco's bulk pricing. Crime? Outside of Sioux Falls and Rapid City, most counties report violent crime under 180 per 100,000. In other words, nearly non-existent. And now for the nuke, the income tax. There is none. South Dakota has 0 state income tax, 0 inheritance tax, and 0 capital gains tax. You keep what you earn. Period. And healthcare? Avra and Sanford have major rural expansion projects underway. Over 14 new outpatient centers have opened since 2023 in towns with fewer than 5,000 people. You want stability in a crumbling economy? A life immune to city fragility? $1,000 in South Dakota isn't rent. It's a defensive strategy, a firewall, a declaration of war on inflation. The elites don't want you to know this place exists. Because if you saw what $1,000 buys here, you'd never return to your $3,200 shoebox in Portland again. Number 6, Nebraska, where $1,000 a month buys you a life no one can cancel. They told you America was out of reach. That homeownership was a relic. That land was something only billionaires and legacy families could access. They forgot about Nebraska, or maybe they hoped you'd forget. Because here, $1,000 doesn't just cover your bills, it covers your freedom. Median home price in Nebraska as of summer 2025? Just $234,000, but don't be fooled. In counties like Gage, Pawnee, or Boone, $135,000 still buys you 3 beds, 2 baths, 2 garages, and a yard big enough to hunt squirrels or launch a drone. That mortgage, it'll cost you around $750. Add insurance, property tax, and power, and you're still under $1,000 total. Property tax rates are higher, 1.52% on average, but Nebraska offers massive exemptions for seniors, veterans, farmers, and even new homesteaders under the 2024 New Roots Incentive Program. Want land? You can still grab acreage at $3,300 to $3,800 per acre, with owner-financed plots all over the state. And with virtually no zoning in 70% of rural counties, you can build a farm, a workshop, a YouTube studio, or all 3, without a bureaucrat in sight. Utilities? Just 11.7 cents kWh, and the state is leading the Midwest in renewable integration. Solar panel installation grants? Still available through the Nebraska Energy Office. Up to $6,000 back for residential systems. And get this, Nebraska has one of the lowest car insurance rates in America, freeing up even more from your monthly budget. Groceries? Taxed at 1.5%, but prices stay below the national average thanks to a robust in-state ag economy. Many counties participate in local food vouchers and farmers market tokens, stretching your dollar further than city life ever could. Crime? Outside of Omaha or Lincoln, it barely registers. Violent crime in many counties is under 150 per 100,000. Healthcare? The state's Telemed Plains project now covers over 75% of rural zip codes, with free devices available to residents earning under $40,000 a year. And finally, Nebraska's First Home Forward Fund provides up to $10,000 in down payment assistance for those moving into rural towns under 10,000 people. That means your $1,000 a month isn't just rent. It's a ticket to rebuild your land, your rules, your name on the title. They said it was impossible. Nebraska proves them wrong. Number 5, Indiana, where $1,000 doesn't rent a room, it rewrites your reality. You want to know how far $1,000 goes in Indiana? It goes past the driveway, past the back fence, and straight into generational wealth. Because Indiana is quietly becoming the back door to the American dream, a place where land, peace, and power aren't dreams, they're line items on your mortgage statement. Statewide median home price, $228,400, but in counties like Greene, Crawford, or Blackford, $125,000 lands you a 3-bedroom ranch, 1.5 baths, a half-acre garden, detached garage, and sometimes, ready for this, a functioning greenhouse. And you're still under 800-month mortgage payment with today's interest rates. Add utilities, which hover at 11.6 cents per kilowatt, and property tax at a modest 0.84%, and your entire housing burden stays under $1,000 a month. But here's where Indiana flips the board. You can make money while living there. Through the 2024 Hoosier Homestead Grant, residents in rural counties who start any home-based agricultural, crafts, or educational enterprise qualify for up to $8,500 in state-backed microloans, with forgiveness after 2 years if you hire locally or sell locally. Translation: you get paid to build your dream. Land remains affordable, $2,800, $3,700 per acre, and zoning codes in dozens of rural counties allow tiny homes, container homes, and even off-grid setups with rainwater catchment systems and compost toilets. Want a farm? Want to live off-grid? Want to Airbnb your backyard? You can. Crime? Outside Indy, it's low, often under 200 per 100K in most towns. Healthcare? Thanks to IU Health's 2023 Rural Outreach Push, 15 new clinics opened in underserved zones, including dental, vision, and urgent care. And if you're under 40, the Indiana Housing Authority offers a $5,000 first-time buyer match, which, combined with USDA no down payment loans, means you can close on a house for almost nothing out of pocket. $1,000 a month in Indiana doesn't just cover a roof. It covers your exit strategy from rent, noise, and wage slavery. While the rest of America shuffles bills like a shell game, Indiana homeowners are planting gardens, raising chickens, and winning. Number 4, Kansas, where $1,000 a month turns you into the landlord, the farmer, and the boss. Kansas is the best-kept secret the real estate cartel prays you never uncover. While they've got you trapped in high-rise hamster cages and $5,000 a month luxury leases in cities where your neighbor's cough keeps you up at night, Kansas is out here offering entire properties for the cost of a new mattress set. Zillow's July 2025 data pegs Kansas's median home price at $211,400, already way under the national average. But that's child's play. In counties like Chautauqua, Jewell, or Lynn, $110,000 lands you a 2-story farmhouse with a root cellar, a workshop, and 4 acres of pasture, already fenced, ready for livestock. Your mortgage? Under $750 a month. Add insurance and utilities? Still under $1,000. Property taxes? Just 1.33% statewide, but agricultural zoning, senior relief, and the 2024 Young Homesteaders Act reduce that even further. Some rural homeowners pay less than $500 a year. Electricity? 11.5 cents per kilowatt. But many homes here run wood-burning stoves, propane heaters, and solar kits, meaning half the year, your utility bill is practically zero. Land is still going for $2,600, $3,200 per acre in central and western Kansas. And here's the kicker. Over 40% of it comes with no zoning restrictions. Want to build a goat shed? A rainwater system? A cabin for your mother-in-law? You don't even need to ask. Grocery costs are some of the lowest in the country, And many families in Kansas grow 70% of their own food thanks to community seed banks and local extension services that teach free gardening and canning classes. Healthcare. The Kansas Rural Health Expansion passed in 2023 injected over $72 million into critical access clinics and mobile health vans, with 26 new service points launched statewide. Violent crime? In most rural counties, it's under 160 per 100,000, less than some gated communities in California. But here's the atomic bomb. Kansas still offers free land in some towns. That's right. The city of Lincoln, KS, and others in the state offer actual lots for free if you agree to build within 2 years. Combine that with USDA zero-down loans, and you can start your empire with $0 down and $1,000 a month. Total. Kansas isn't behind. It's free. And in 2025, that might be the rarest currency of all. Number 3, North Dakota, where $1,000 makes you immune to recession, regulation, and renter's regret. You probably haven't thought about North Dakota since 8th grade geography, but that's exactly why you're losing. Because while most Americans are hemorrhaging money on apartments that come with rules, roommates, and rot, folks in North Dakota are snapping up modern cabins on 5 acres with enough room for hunting, solar panels, and a second income stream. Median home price as of July 2025? $243,600, but in counties like Benson, Dickey, or Bottineau, that number falls hard. $120,000, $155,000 buys you a fully insulated home, a steel roof, a garage, and a bonus lot. Your monthly mortgage? Under $750, and with property tax at 0.94% and energy costs at 11.7 cents kW, your entire housing load stays under $1,000 comfortably. But here's where North Dakota flips the board. Oil and land leases. If your property sits on mineral rights, still common in rural zones, you can lease to an energy company for passive monthly income. Some homeowners literally get paid for their land. Land itself? Cheap. $2,900 to $3,400 per acre in rural counties, and many towns are zoned to allow for off-grid building, livestock, and multiple dwellings on a single property. Food? Dirt cheap. BEA places North Dakota in the top 5 cheapest states for groceries, and since it's an ag economy, locals still buy bulk meat, eggs, dairy, and grains from farm cooperatives at a fraction of national prices. Crime? Fargo might have nightlife, but the rest of the state? Rural violent crime averages under 150 per 100K, safer than most suburban schools. Healthcare? Bismarck, Minot, and Grand Forks are medical hubs, and the 2024 Dakota Care rollout expanded mobile care units to 14 new counties, offering telehealth diagnostics and in-home visits for rural dwellers. Want to move? North Dakota offers relocation stipends of up to $10,000 for skilled workers or remote employees under the Find the Good Life initiative. But here's what seals the deal. No nonsense. No HOA fines for having a truck in your driveway. No condo boards banning chickens. No surveillance apartment buildings. Just you, your land, your rules, and a life nobody can take from you. $1,000 here doesn't just buy you a house. It buys sovereignty. Number 2, Tennessee, where $1,000 a month turns you into an heir, not a tenant. They don't want you looking at Tennessee, because once you do, you start asking dangerous questions, like why you've been paying $2,400 a month to rent a 1-bedroom in a city that smells like wet drywall, while folks in Tennessee are locking down multi-acre properties with barns, wells, and guest houses for less than you pay in parking tickets. Let's talk numbers. As of July 2025, Zillow shows Tennessee's statewide median home price hovering around $295,000, but that's skewed by Nashville and Memphis. Get outside those city limits and things get biblical. In counties like Wayne, Scott, or Perry, homes routinely list between $135,000 and $175,000, and we're not talking beat-up trailers. These are 1,800, 2,400 SQFT homes with metal roofs, finished basements, and yards big enough for deer stands. For $1,000 a month, you can cover your mortgage, insurance, and even most of your utility bills, especially if you're using wood heat or solar. Property taxes? Astonishingly low, just 0.56%. That's under $800 per year on a $140,000 home. Compare that to New Jersey or Illinois, where $8,000 tax bills are the norm. Energy? TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. Power means cheap electricity. Many homes pay under $100 a month in utilities. But here's the twist. Tennessee has no state income tax. Everything you make, you keep. No extra bite, no April bloodletting. And food, dirt cheap. Tennessee ranks among the 10 lowest cost grocery states in the U.S. Buy in bulk from farmers, join a meat co-op, or hit the Mennonite markets, and you'll feed a family of 4 for what a Californian pays for brunch. And then there's the law. Tennessee's Right to Farm Act, combined with the 2024 Homestead Freedom Bill, gives rural homeowners the right to raise livestock, grow food, and build without a permit in over 50 counties. Crime? Outside the cities, it's practically non-existent. Violent crime in places like Fentress or Grundy County is under 120 per 100,000, making it safer than 90% of U.S. suburbs. Healthcare? Expanding fast. The Appalachian Access Initiative added 22 new clinics and 9 urgent care hubs across the state in 2024 alone. Bottom line, $1,000 a month in Tennessee doesn't just buy you space, it buys status. You're not a renter, you're a landed citizen. You own your land, your roof, your peace. And no one, not a bank, not a city council, not a tech landlord, can evict you from that. Number 1, Montana, where $1,000 doesn't buy you a home. It buys you a kingdom. Montana isn't a state, it's a financial escape hatch disguised as a postcard. You don't just live here, you reclaim yourself. Because in Montana, $1,000 a month isn't just buying you a house, it's buying you silence, land, and legal sovereignty in a world that wants you boxed, taxed, and controlled. Start with the data. Zillow lists Montana's median home price at $419,000. But that's in Bozeman, Missoula, and Whitefish, where the billionaires and Californians cluster. Step into counties like Valley, Powder River, or Carter. You'll find listings between $140,000 and $180,000, often with 4 to 7 acres of land, barns, cellars, and no visible neighbors for miles. You could fire a shotgun off the back porch and hit nothing but time. A $1,000-month mortgage here? Totally realistic, and often includes the land. Property taxes? Just 0.74% statewide. And ag exemptions plus homestead protections drive that even lower. Montana is also one of the few states where you can homestead 160-plus acres for ranching and pay no property tax at all for up to 5 years. Utilities? Often irrelevant. Homes here use wood stoves, propane tanks, solar arrays, and private wells. Many live entirely off-grid, paying 0 monthly utility bills. Electricity from rural co-ops costs just 11.4 cents kWh, and the 2024 Montana Resiliency Credit gives up to $8,000 in solar installation grants if you build outside metro areas. Food? Buy a cow, split it with a neighbor, freeze it for the year? It's that kind of place. Montana ranks number 3 in lowest grocery costs adjusted for local production. And crime? Most counties don't even report it, because it doesn't happen. Valley County's violent crime rate, 97 per 100,000. That's like being guarded by nature itself. Healthcare? Critical access hospitals serve every rural county, and thanks to the 2025 Big Sky Rural Care Bill, telehealth is now free for all residents earning under $50K a year. And get this, Montana has some of the strongest private property laws in the country. Want to shoot on your land? Do it. Build a backup house? Do it. Ban people from stepping foot on your land? You can. You own the dirt, the sky, the water, everything. While renters in New York are debating rent control, Montana homeowners are planting orchards, building ponds, and raising goats with zero oversight. This isn't just ownership, it's empire-level freedom. And $1,000 a month is all it takes.